Let's be straight from the jump. There was no physical attack on J. Prince from Houston Goons. No ambush, no shooting, no beating. The title you've been seeing across YouTube and social media is using attack the way online commentators use it, to describe a wave of street-level criticism and online backlash, not a literal confrontation. What there has been is a years-long conversation about the Prince family's proximity to one of hip-hop's most painful tragedies. And that conversation got loud again in April 2026 in ways that are worth breaking down properly. Here's the full picture. On November 1st, 2022, Takeoff was shot and killed outside 810 Billiards and Bowling in downtown Houston. He was 28 years old. He had no street beefs. He was one of the most respected members of Migos, widely considered the most musically gifted of the three. And just hours before he died, he and Quavo had dropped a new single called Messy. The gathering that night was connected to the Prince family. J. Prince Jr., son of James Prince, the founder of Rap-A-Lot Records, was one of the hosts. Over 30 people were in attendance. The early part of the night was described in police affidavits as calm. Smoking, conversation, celebration. Things changed around 2:40 a.m. when a dice game broke out on the third floor of the venue. According to court documents, Quavo lost a significant amount of cash in the game. A verbal dispute broke out between him and several people, including Cameron Joshua, Christopher Watkins, and Willie Bland, known as Migo Bands, an associate who had traveled with the Migos camp. The argument escalated. Quavo threw a punch. Willie Bland shoved Watkins. Someone reached for a weapon. Quavo turned to walk away. That's when the shooting started, from at least 2 weapons. Takeoff was standing nearby, not involved in the dice game, not part of the argument. He was struck by stray bullets and collapsed. He was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 others were wounded. Houston police moved fast. Surveillance footage was pulled. Fingerprints were lifted. Within weeks, they had a suspect. Patrick Xavier Clark, known as DJ Pat, was arrested on December 2nd, 2022. Video showed him holding a wine bottle in one hand and firing toward the group where Takeoff stood. His fingerprints matched the bottle. His phone data placed him at the scene. He was charged with murder and entered a not guilty plea. His trial is currently set for November 9th, 2026. Cameron Joshua, the other man in the dispute, was charged with being a felon in possession of a weapon. His case was dismissed in December 2023. He was not the shooter. No one in the Prince family has been charged with any crime connected to Takeoff's death. That's the factual core. What happened after is where the narrative complications began. In February 2023, 3 months after Takeoff's death, J. Prince Sr., J. Prince Jr., and Mike Prince sat down on $1 million worth of game with Galida Kid and Wallow. The family gave their version of the night. Their central argument was that Migo Bands, Willie Bland, was the one who escalated the physical altercation before any shots were fired. They brought paperwork to the interview, which they said showed Bland had been cooperating with police. They were essentially calling him a snitch on camera, while an open murder case was still being investigated. The reaction was divided. Some felt the Prince family had every right to defend their name. Others, including Boozy Badaz, felt the interview was off-pattern for someone with J. Prince Sr.'s reputation. Boozy said he was surprised to see an OG of that level discussing an open case so openly on a podcast. He also pushed back on the Migo Band's snitch framing, pointing out that a security professional present at a murder scene cooperating with police isn't exactly a shocking move. He said it was a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. The interview also pulled in Offset. Part of what J. Prince Sr. said touched on Offset's relationship with Takeoff, suggesting he wasn't as close to his cousin as he publicly presented. Offset responded. The back and forth spilled onto social media. J. Prince Sr. went on Instagram and addressed Offset directly, warning him not to put Prince in a position where he had to defend himself. The internet ran with it, but the core issue remained unresolved. Takeoff was gone. Clark hadn't been convicted, and the streets kept talking. Then April 2026 brought 2 new developments that reignited everything. First, on or around April 8th, a birthday gathering at Confessions Restaurant in the Upper Kirby area of Houston turned violent. The event was connected to a man referred to online as OG3, and J. Prince Jr. was in attendance. NBA Youngboy affiliate Ben 10 was shot and critically injured. Detroit rapper All-Star Jr. was identified as the shooter and said he acted in self-defense after an attempt to take his chain escalated into a physical confrontation. The full sequence of events is still being pieced together, and accounts differ on who was the aggressor. No Prince family member has been charged in connection with the Confessions shooting. Houston police characterized it based on available reporting as a combination of robbery attempt and mutual combat. But J. Prince Jr. was present at the scene, and the internet immediately connected it to the 2022 party where Takeoff was killed. Two events years apart, both linked to his name. His father addressed it on Instagram, saying he was at the restaurant alone and that the gathering was organic, not a setup. He said he didn't know All-Star Jr. personally and had never directed anyone to harm him. Second, also in March 2026, it was reported that Patrick Clark, the man charged with Takeoff's murder, had hired a new legal team that included attorneys who had previously represented J. Prince Sr. on unrelated matters. The internet took that detail and ran with it. Conspiracy theories spread about what the connection meant. In Houston, high-profile attorneys serve high-profile clients. The overlap isn't unusual in a city of that size, but the combination of the Confessions shooting and the legal team news created a perfect storm of online commentary. YouTube titles started using phrases like "Houston Goons attacked J. Prince" and "Streets finally coming for him." None of it described a literal physical confrontation. It described a wave of public criticism, street-level commentary, and online scrutiny reaching new intensity. That's the context in which the April 15th video dropped. My mixtape posted a 12-second clip on X that hit 2.2 million views within 24 hours. In it, Alabama rapper Honeycomb Brazy films J. Prince Sr. walking through a Houston neighborhood at night, alongside a small group of men. Brazy narrates, "Still walking through the hood with the old man OG. We still walk through the hood, man. Everybody can't do this." The reaction split cleanly. Supporters saw it as a statement of respect and groundedness. A multimillionaire who could easily be surrounded by private security choosing to walk through a Houston neighborhood with cameras rolling. They pointed to Honeycomb Brazy's presence as a signal of genuine street credibility, not hired protection. Critics called it performative. They said a 61-year-old man with Prince's level of wealth had no business staging a hood walk for social media. They said it glorified the same street culture his empire was supposedly built to transcend. Others tied it directly to the Confessions shooting and the Takeoff commentary, framing it as a message to the streets that the Prince family wasn't shaken. That framing is probably the most accurate read. The video wasn't a response to any physical threat. It was a reputation management move, delivered in the language the streets understand: presence, visibility, and the implication that nothing has changed. Here's what the full picture actually shows. The phrase "Houston Goons" in the context of this story refers to street-level voices, podcast commentary, and online accounts that have spent years questioning the Prince family's proximity to Takeoff's death. Some of those voices come from Houston, some don't. None of them have physically attacked J. Prince or any member of his family. J. Prince Jr. has never been charged with any crime connected to Takeoff's murder. He was a host at the venue where it happened. That's his documented role. Nothing more according to any court filing or police document. The only person charged with killing Takeoff is Patrick Xavier Clark, whose trial begins in November 2026. What's actually happening is a collision between the Prince family's carefully managed public image and the scrutiny that comes with being in proximity to multiple high-profile, violent incidents. The walk through the hood was Prince's answer to that scrutiny, not a response to a bullet. A response to whether that response lands the way he intended is the real question. The trial in November will put the Takeoff case back in the headlines. When it does, the Prince family name will be in the conversation again, not as defendants, but as one of the central figures in the story of that night. The streets are going to keep talking until there's a verdict. And even then, some conversations don't close with a gavel. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think the trial in November finally puts this to rest, or does it open everything back up? Subscribe for every update as the case moves forward.